Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another video. We got two updates before the video even starts. 1 second. Okay. So our two updates are that Dragon Lee cheated and gave the win to Trick Williams. So Trick Williams is a new NXT North American champion. And it was a Dragunov beat. He beat Cameron Grimes. Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. So I turned my iPad off. Stupid me. So yeah, we got two title changes. What they could do is they could bring Carmelo Hayes up to the main roster. That'd be so cool if they did that. Like have him join the Hurt Business alongside um Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. That could be cool. Um, but let's check out the video. That was the only two things I know. I didn't. I watched that whole match between Dominic Mysterio and Trick Williams. As soon as Trick won, I just turned it off. I didn't even care about watching it anymore. Not that I was binge watching the whole show. That would have been.
And we are starting off with SmackDown as John Cena came out at the end of the show to talk about a big problem, that being that he's without a partner to face Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso at next week's Fastlane. Cena said he has two options, either to rip up the contract and pretend it never happened, or stand up and fight, and it was clear what choice Mr. Never Give Up was going to make. John vowed to fight even if he had to go it alone, and it looked like that was going to be the case as his promo was interrupted by Uso, Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. Jimmy Uso said John wasn't going to make it to Fastlane, and alongside Sikoa, delivered a beating on the former world champion, who looked like he was going to be sent through the announce desk. Just as Sikoa was preparing for his top rope splash, L.A. Knight made his return to TV and ran to Cena's aid, and together, Knight and Cena were able to fend off the Bloodline in an epic moment. After a short stare down, Knight reached for the contract Cena mentioned earlier and signed the paperwork, much to John's delight, and setting up a tag team match for Fastlane. Given that there had been reports of a tag match for some time, this segment was predictable booking, but it was also an example of exactly the right booking.
Nah, it was the wrong booking.
It will be a huge step for Knight, and the next logical step for him in his run to the top of WWE, as it allows him to get the rub from Cena and also work with the Bloodline. Sharing the ring with Uso and Sikoa
I would like to see him turn heel.
Journey to an eventual title
I might start liking him again.
We hoped to see last week, but hit exactly right here. The pop for Knight rivaled that of Cena, and is a great indicator of where he is at this point and how fans view him, and hopefully WWE can continue this momentum in the coming weeks and months.
Nah.
One of my biggest challenges.
I thought you were gonna stay off TV a lot longer.
I really needed it, and it would always slow down the momentum of my business.
Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa kicked off SmackDown with an in-ring promo, teasing that John Cena was having transport issues, but was actually running scared. Their promo segued into a match between Uso and Carl Anderson, and highlighted Uso against someone who is a tag team specialist. The biggest story was not the match, but the actions of Uso, who acted as if he's a bigger deal than Heyman and Sikoa, acting as the alleged leader in Roman Reigns' absence. It may be hard to see Uso as the unofficial leader after he got smacked down by Mia Yim, and this instance helped define his character and would also set up the angle with Cena later in the show. That booking trope is rarely a favorite, but is a trademark of WWE, so it is what it is at this point, and there were multiple examples of Uso trying to place himself as the head of his group. Uso would repeatedly yank the microphone from Paul Heyman's hands, continuing to go against the wishes of the special counsel, and by proxy, the wishes of Roman Reigns. It's also somewhat wild to think that it's been close to a year since the OC returned, and since then, they've pretty much been used the same way as they were before their 2020 release. Backstage, a frustrated Jimmy Uso assaulted several people, and while Sikoa did not join him at first, the Bloodline's enforcer later did, a sign of Jimmy's influence in the mind of his younger brother. If so, that could be very dangerous for Roman Reigns, who will be returning to SmackDown next month, and may come back to find Solo more
he's gonna be there on the 13th.
him. If that were to happen, Reigns would be seriously outmatched, and who knows, a reunion between Jimmy, Solo, and Jay could see Reigns lose this rebellion and give up his status as Tribal Chief to Jimmy. After 3 years on top, Reigns' tenure as Tribal Chief has grown old with many WWE fans, and perhaps this week's SmackDown was a tease of major changes to come. Now, fans who were watching this week's SmackDown may have noticed something strange about the intro video this week, as Edge was nowhere to be seen in the package. Just a few weeks ago, WWE updated its intro video and included Edge, so his removal is very recent indeed, and this comes at a time when many believe Edge's career in WWE is coming to an end. This development has only fueled the speculation surrounding Edge's contract situation and his possible appearance at AEW Wrestle Dream, which is scheduled for this Sunday. With Edge's known WWE contract ending today, he will, in theory, be free to appear at Wrestle Dream, as fans are eagerly anticipating the Hall of Famer's next move.
Ain't Wrestle Dream tomorrow?
Sad news to report right now, as NWA legend Joyce Grable has died at the age of 70. A 6-time NWA Women's World Tag Team
That's
champion
the case,
and
NWA.
US
I wasn't even alive.
Grable accomplished
I wasn't
much
alive
during
in
her decades
1997.
and we'd like to extend our condolences to those who knew her
I wasn't
at this
born.
time. In the years
I didn't
since
die
Dominic
and come back to
Mysterio
life.
joined the Judgment
I
Day,
mean, I wasn't
the
born yet.
self-proclaimed hardened criminal has become one of WWE's top stars, as well as one of the most loathed superstars in recent history. Dominic has made it clear he has no issue with bending or even breaking the rules when need be, but now a very real WWE rule may force WWE to punish Dirty Dom. At the end of last week's Raw, the Judgment Day were retreating to the back after a brawl with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes, and the heels were furious in the moment. It appears that Mysterio took things too far, as after seeing Finn Balor strike a referee, which was part of the show, Mysterio delivered a boot to the same official, which reportedly wasn't the plan. The referee, caught unaware, was hurt and fell badly, and one of WWE's biggest rules is that you can't intentionally hit an official, either in a match or outside of the ring. Superstars have been fined or suspended in the past for doing that, while Big Cass was famously fired for going off script during a 2018
They just took the
segment
title
in
off of Dominic Mysterio.
While Mysterio is unlikely to be fired, Mysterio's strike could see him face a suspension and possibly be stripped of the NXT North American title, or drop it sooner than initially planned.
Yeah, he
In
dropped
addition
it.
to
He
being
dropped
an
it
on-screen
today.
authority figure, Adam Pearce works as a producer for WWE, and he was visibly angry with what had happened, which may spell bad news for Mysterio. At this point, it remains to be seen what action WWE will take against Dom, or if they'll chalk this up to a young talent getting a bit hot-headed in the heat of the moment, and we'll keep following this situation for updates.
They should have
More
kept
from
it on him.
SmackDown,
They
as
had no
Michael
reason to
Cole
take
hyped
it
up
off.
Jade Cargill's arrival, and the show aired a few screenshots from news highlights, including the ESPN story that broke the news of her contract. Cole said he can't wait to see Cargill in a WWE ring, in a nice nod to WWE's newest superstar, but the fact there was no clue which brand she'll be on when she debuts will keep fans interested.
I didn't
Football,
even
all
check to
season
see if she
long,
debuted
live
anywhere
and cable free.
since NXT
YouTube
happened.
TV. Try it
Who's-
free. Terms apply. Cancel
Sure.
anytime.
While we on YouTube.
Boost your revenue and drive growth with Google Ads. Reach high-value customers across the entire Google network, like search, shopping, YouTube, and more. Get started today.
Okay, nothing has popped up.
There was plenty of action during this week's episode
I
of
was looking to
SmackDown
see
in
if maybe she
Sacramento, but arguably the
debuted
biggest
at
match of the night was
NXT,
kept until the show went off the air.
But she didn't.
After SmackDown, a dream match pitting
nothing
champion
on that.
against champion played out as World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins faced Intercontinental Champion Gunther. The match, which was only for Rollins' title, ended in a DQ as Imperium members Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci attacked Rollins, but the Architect was the one standing tall at the end of the night. After this match, Rollins addressed the fans and took aim at Roman Reigns being absent from the show before leading the crowd in a Bray Wyatt tribute. If this wasn't enough, John Cena was also in action after SmackDown, and his open challenge was answered by NXT North American Champion Dominic Mysterio. The non-title match was won by Cena, and for anyone wondering why the title wasn't on the line, it's because dark matches are normally designed so that baby faces can win and send the crowd home happy. WWE wanted Cena to win but didn't want to take the North American title off of Mysterio, and while the Sacramento crowd didn't see a title change, there was plenty to enjoy in the arena. Now, Bobby Lashley has been trying to instill the killer instinct within the Street Profits for some time now, and after the duo's defeat last week, Lashley was left disappointed by the lack of ruthlessness. This week, Lashley joined the Grayson Waller effect, and with a single reference to going back to the drawing board, revealed he is no longer working with Montez Ford or Angelo Dawkins. It felt very much like a rushed creative decision, but in hindsight, is reflective of the story as a whole, and we expect the Profits to have to ramp up their intensity to prove themselves to the Almighty. This will allow a longer, more natural process for the pair to turn heel, rather than what we've seen, which is the team being faces one week, and WWE expecting fans to boo them the next. After the segment, Austin Theory hit the ring to battle Cameron Grimes with Waller at ringside, and like the opener, this was a glorified squash match that highlighted the Theory-Waller pairing. It appears that Grimes was used as an enhancement talent this week on WWE SmackDown to put over Theory, since he is now being pushed into the tag team picture. The last time fans saw Grimes in action was at SummerSlam, where he worked the Battle Royal won by LA Knight, and while he's been missing from TV, he has continued to compete in dark matches. SmackDown also saw LWO allies Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar face off with the US title on the line, just 1 week removed from battling the Street Profits. The battle between protege and mentor saw Rey get the better of his younger, faster challenger after countering a gorilla press by Escobar.
I don't think Escobar is faster than Rey.
Hesitation by Escobar to answer his idol's side
He was
was an interesting
lacking.
development that teased dissension between them and a potential return to being a heel for Santos. A post-match beatdown by the Street Profits drew the approval of Bobby Lashley in the latest rushed chapter of this story, and Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro tried to help their allies, but to no avail. Interestingly, Dragon Lee also appeared to try and intervene, but was prevented by security from going over the ringside barricade. Lee has often spoken about his respect for Rey Mysterio, and we wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if this was a tease of the Latino World Order's newest member. The Profits hit the
could be
revelation
cool.
on Wilde to send a statement.
He's supposed to be
and
on
though it was quite the
SmackDown next
impactful
week.
Scene, there has been serious issues
Even though he's
with
on
the pacing of
NXT.
this angle. We went
He
into
was taking on
SmackDown
Austin
thinking the
Theory.
Profits and Lashley were still together, only to learn that they'd split, and then for the Profits to earn the approval of Lashley later in the show. Seriously, this was about 3 weeks of storytelling concised into a couple of segments, but a good strong title match helped elevate the quality of this entire ordeal. Later, in a
I'm just
backstage
waiting on my
interview,
boy
Rey
Solo
Mysterio
Sikoa to
and
take the title
LWO
off him.
challenged the newly formed faction to a match at Fastlane and expect a couple of months worth of storylines ahead of next week's event. We'll have to see if the match is made official, and which faction do you think will come out on top at Fastlane if it's booked? Let us know in the comments section below. When WWE released a bunch of talent this month, Shelton Benjamin was one of the names cut, but he may not be out of a job for long if AEW talent have any say in things. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reports that he's heard numerous AEW stars saying they hope Shelton joins the company, and this talk was actually happening months before he was released. Sapp also added that AEW has been looking to add producers to its crew, with the goal being that each producer will work one match on an AEW show, a role the veteran Shelton would also fit. Benjamin's non-compete clause means he won't be able to work elsewhere until December 20th, but Tony Khan may have a special holiday present for the AEW roster after that clause expires.
100% awesome.
You make this look good.
Not another ad.
100% hilarious.
With WWE Fastlane just days away, the card for the upcoming event is still coming together, and at this time, Rhea Ripley is without a match for the show. Ripley hasn't competed since being attacked by the returning
I
Nia
think
Jax
she
on
was,
September 11th,
suspended.
2023 Raw, and
I was
while
actually
we
wondering
expect
why
a
she
title
was on
match,
Raw.
It won't be happening just yet. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that despite the belief of many, it appears the match isn't on the card for Fastlane, leaving fans waiting for another showdown between the two. Even without Ripley on the card, Fastlane is proving to be a hit, with the Observer reporting that the event has sold out with 11,548 tickets and has the most secondary market
Not
interest
bad.
as well. The secondary market is setting
I'll be
ticket prices
watching it
at
on Peacock, though.
$65 a seat,
I'm not
compared
about to buy no,
$46 for
ticket.
Wrestle Dream and $5 for tonight's NXT No Mercy show. These are some great results for what is one of WWE's B-tier events, but with a last man standing match and both LA Knight and John Cena booked, it's not hard to see why the fans are interested. SmackDown also saw Charlotte Flair confront Bayley before their singles match, and the Queen said that Bayley has gone from a go-getter with the Four Horsewomen to someone who isn't bothering to contend for a title shot. This was followed up by Flair challenging Io Sky to a women's title match for Fastlane, but an infuriated Bayley was ready to step in the ring with Flair during SmackDown. Bayley enjoyed the bulk of the offense and even delivered some chops on Flair, but it was Charlotte and her spear that earned the WWE's most decorated woman a win. Following her loss, Bayley grabbed a mic and trash-talked Flair while the remainder of Damage Control was gearing up for an attack, but Asuka would run out to even the odds. What followed was Bayley accepting Flair's challenge for a match at Fastlane, but this bout will include Asuka as well, a triple threat match that Sky was clearly not on board with. This incident could also lead to the role model possibly creating an implosion and conclusion of Damage Control, as the numbers are very much not in the favor of the shocked champion. After Fastlane,
I think it's good, man.
next major event
Let
will be
them fight it
Crown
out,
Jewel,
then you
but
come in and
despite
just steal the
WWE
win.
usually pulling out all the stops for their Saudi shows, this event may say something of a talent drought. In The Observer, it's reported that WWE will be running WWE live events in the US the weekend of Crown Jewel, and WWE wants to ensure that some top talent are kept for those events. Given that Crown Jewel will take place on a Friday, there won't be a live SmackDown airing the same night, but instead, WWE will tape 2 episodes on October 27th. The first episode will air live on the night, while the second will air on Thursday, November 3rd, so that WWE can navigate their international commitments effectively. As for which superstars will travel to Riyadh, John Cena and Roman Reigns are already being advertised locally, and expect to learn more as we get closer to the November 4th show.
I think Roman
We
Reigns
mentioned
supposed
earlier
to be
that
taking on
AEW
AJ
talent wants to see
Styles.
Shelton Benjamin under an
That's what they
all-elite
said.
contract, but one name that fans may not be seeing on Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision is Matt Riddle. Riddle exited WWE this month with more than his share of controversies, and in The Observer, it's
I think
reported
it said he
Riddle's
was
baggage will likely cause
exposed
Tony Khan to be
by
hesitant
someone
about signing him.
Today, I didn't look
AEW is
into it.
already home to several former WWE superstars, but in The
Thought
Observer,
about it, I
it
just
is added
forgot.
that some who are now working with AEW regret their decision, seeing the move from WWE to AEW as a step down. That includes ex-superstars who have been pushed well by Tony Khan, but the belief among those names is that WWE is the major leagues and anything else just can't compare.
Right.
These ex-superstars are hoping to get a WWE offer once their AEW deals expire, and while these AEW wrestlers weren't named, we could see quite a few leave AEW when the time is right. So if Matt Riddle isn't going to be all elite, where else is there for the original bro? Well,
Impact.
It turns out that Riddle could soon be working
Huh.
with Impact
Probably.
Wrestling. Speaking this week about his own impending Impact exit, PCO said that Riddle's name has been coming up backstage as a potential signing, as has Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali. Of
I can
course,
see
any attempts to
Mustafa
sign any of
Ali
these
in
men will have to
Impact,
happen
but
after
not
their
Dolph
non-compete
Ziggler.
clauses, but
He gotta go to
who of these
AEW.
three would you like to see
It's
join
the
Impact
second
Wrestling?
company.
All we know for now is Riddle's WWE tenure is over, and more has come out about the trouble he got into backstage. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Matt Riddle got heat in WWE for going off script during a live promo, as he spoke about Randy Orton's injury when he wasn't meant to. It was also reported that several in the company noted that he probably would have been among the top stars in the company had he not been a constant source of controversies. Thanks to these controversies, Riddle was destined to remain in the mid-card, but now he's gone from WWE entirely, and perhaps his exit will teach the original bro a lesson going forward. It's been close to a month since CM Punk was fired from AEW, and this week, Kenny Omega seemingly took a shot at the self-proclaimed real-world champion. Former UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson recently challenged Kenny Omega to a Street Fighter VI video game match, to which Omega agreed, and Johnson announced on Twitter that the fight will happen after WrestleDream. When a fan asked of the odds of Punk versus Omega in Street Fighter, the AEW star said Punk would need to find 2 minutes of spare time, adding that he's not on that level. Omega later clarified, though, the question was about Punk to God, a known fighting gamer, and whether he meant it as a dig at CM Punk or not, many have taken it that way. And we're ending with tonight's NXT No Mercy, as No Mercy isn't just a show name, but also the name of a beloved wrestling video game for the Nintendo 64. WWF No Mercy remains loved by fans, and for the cold open for tonight's show, WWE paid homage to the classic game with graphics resembling the video game, in a very cool tribute that fans and gamers love.
Okay. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you on the next.